Hey everybody, my name is Bodhi Shonamore from DinosaurDynamite.com, and today we're talking about the top 10 things Jurassic Park and Jurassic World got wrong. Velociraptors and a lot of other dromaeosaurs were as big as turkeys. With Velociraptor, it was 2 feet tall, 6 feet long, and about 30 pounds when soaking wet. So it was about the size of a medium-sized dog or a turkey. They were covered in feathers like birds of prey today. So if you are thinking of the show Prehistoric Planet on Apple TV, the velociraptors in that documentary show are what they actually look like. But there are very few dromaeosaurs that are the size of people or larger. The largest was Utah Raptor, and he was about double the size of a human, so maybe 600 to 700 pounds. And it was also covered in feathers like a bird of prey. Or often, like when you think of a velociraptor, you think of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. And the new movie, Jurassic World Dominion, just came out about a month ago. And the Pyroraptor in that movie was actually a lot more accurate to what it was like in real life. The feathery covering was accurate, fairly, but not exactly. The skull was not very accurate. It was a lot more like a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Velociraptor than the Prehistoric Planet Velociraptors. And with the raptors in the movie, a lot of them are a lot larger than they're supposed to be. So, like, Velociraptor is like 3 times the size than what it actually should be, maybe 4 times the size. Pyroraptor, about double, triple the size. And the dromaeosaurs in the movies have been not the best, at least when it comes to accuracy, but they weren't really going for accuracy in these movies. They were going for more coolness. I think we all know that. That's why we love these movies. But another cool thing is, in the very beginning of Jurassic Park, the book, when they were at the dig site, Dr. Alan Grant said, "I just dug up a Velociraptor Antiropus that doesn't exist." But in the Jurassic Park universe, Deinonychus, which Tim in the book actually points this out, Deinonychus Antiropus the name got changed to Velociraptor Antiropus from Deinonychus Antiropus, or Deinonychus, however you want to say it. Yeah, Tim actually pointed this out in the part of the book, like the beginning when they're first going on the tour. It's not even mentioned in the movie, it's just called Velociraptor. So, yeah, they did kind of skip out on that. The T-Rex ran way too fast in these movies. In the very first Jurassic Park movie, the T-Rex chase scene, after it broke out, when it was chasing the Jeep with injured Ian Malcolm, Ellie Sattler, and Robert Muldoon, in that movie, it was running about 25 to 30 miles an hour. That's how fast the Jeep was going. And that is way too fast for a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Their legs were not built for running fast like ostrich or emus and like a lot of the fast-running flightless birds today, or any of the dromaeosaurs or ornithomimosaurs in the past. The T-Rex was actually about the fastest it could go. This is very dangerous, I might add. The fastest it could probably go was 25 miles an hour, and that is very, very dangerous for a T-Rex. So it would probably be more accurate to say that T-Rex would run about 15 miles an hour at the fastest, but it would only run to about 25, with the most generous estimates, about only when it was necessary, which was not a lot of the time. And with T-Rex, it probably did like a fast walk instead of a slow run. So, like, T-Rex could probably go as fast as about a mediocre track runner. Usain Bolt would be perfectly fine. Digging up a full dinosaur skeleton is way harder than it looks. Fossils are very delicate, for rocks anyway. Like, have been sitting in the ground for 65 million years plus, depending on the kind of creature it is and from what time period it's from. So, like, Allosaurus, about 150 to 200 million years. Compsognathus and Coelophysis, about 200 to 300 million years. And then T-Rex, 65 to 75 million years. The smaller the numbers are, the closer it is to our time. So T-Rex was a lot closer in time to us than it was to Stegosaurus or Allosaurus. So 65 million years between us and T-Rex, about 150 to 200 million years between T-Rex and Stegosaurus. And with fossils, over time, the fossils get buried underground after the animal dies, and they get replaced by minerals. Kinds of minerals that can fit where the calcium was in the bone. So it basically replaces the bone and takes the shape of the bone. Sort of like how casts are made of bones. So, like, the bone disappears, but there's a exact replica of that bone left behind. But this time it's made of rocks. And the thing about finding full skeletons, it's very, very rare. Like, in the very first Jurassic Park movie, when Alan Grant and his team find the most complete Dromaeosaurid skeleton ever, it was like perfect in every way, which is impossible, at least to paleontologist knowledge. And the most complete dinosaur skeleton, specifically T-Rex skeleton of all time, we all know is Sue. But she's still incomplete. She's only 95% complete, which is, like, very good for, like, paleontology, but still not a complete skeleton. So there's still things missing. But most of the time, you only find, like, some leg bones and some backbones, because those are solid, dense pieces of bone. Like, they're the strongest, most dense parts of the body because they're structural. So they have a higher chance of surviving for millions of years without getting ruined, as long as they don't get eroded away by water, rain, wind, things like that. It's very, very, very uncommon that we find complete skulls, let alone skull pieces. And it's very, very rare that we find complete skeletons like Sue, and there's a Stegosaurus skeleton, I think, that's, like, very, very complete. But yeah, T-Rex, the Sue is, like, the most complete dinosaur skeleton ever. So, yeah, fossils are not, it's not like the movies. You don't find a whole dinosaur skeleton just below you perfectly fine after millions of years. There's going to be bones missing, bones broken, bones, like, misshapen, like crushed or bent, things like that. T-Rex and other large predators could not roar. So with T-Rex specifically, but you can apply this to a lot of other large carnivores like Giganotosaurus from the New Dominion movie, or the Therizinosaurus from the New Dominion movie, or T-Rex itself. They probably could not make the huge bellowing roar that T-Rex makes, or that they make in the New Dominion movie. They probably made more of like a hissing rumble, like a crocodile or alligator today, that would travel for miles underground. But with T-Rex specifically, the rumbling and the low frequency sounds are specifically pointed to T-Rex. T-Rex could probably make a sound that could travel for miles, but could not be heard by any other animal except for another T-Rex. So, yeah, T-Rex couldn't make that roar in the movies. It's unrealistic. It may be cool, but it's unrealistic. The sauropods are completely wrong. So, in the very first movie, Jurassic Park, uh, the very first time we see a dinosaur on screen is with the Brachiosaurus rearing up to go eat the eucalyptus leaves. First of all, eucalyptus leaves are poisonous to any other animal except for the koala. So, that Brachiosaurus should have been dead. And second of all, the Brachiosaurus' center of mass is too far forward on the body for it to be able to rear up on its back legs. But with Diplodocus, Diplodocus could probably rear up on its back legs because its center of mass is right above the hips, which means that it could rear up without falling over. Another thing is, with Brachiosaurus, its front legs or its arms are way too thin to take the weight coming back down on the ground, like from Brachiosaurus being like 50 tons. I I don't remember exactly, but it's probably close to 50 or 60 tons. Brachiosaurus's front legs, they're way too thin for the Brachiosaurus to rear up and land back down on them. If it landed back down on them, its legs would snap in half. And with a lot of the animals in Jurassic World, a lot of them have a little either too much fleshy skin and muscle or too little. Like with the Apatosaurus, its body is built like a whale, but its neck is really thin, which is not accurate to the actual Apatosaurus. Apatosaurus was chubby in the gut, like all sauropods were like that because they ate plants. But the neck was actually a lot thicker, about double the thickness than what we see in the Jurassic World movies. With the Dreadnoughtus, the front legs are actually a lot too muscly and thick for for the Dreadnoughtus. The Dreadnoughtus's front legs probably were a lot more thin and like lanky, but not like Brachiosaurus's. They were a lot more like tree trunks than bodybuilder arms. So, like, if you look at the front legs in the New Dominion movie, like the front legs of the Dreadnoughtus, it's like he hasn't been skipping arm day for the past year, which is not accurate to sauropods at all. Sauropods don't have like bodybuilder legs and arms. So, imagine a sauropod with trees for legs. That's basically the structure of their like front and back legs. And with another thing with the Brachiosaurus, again, the front legs are way too thick, and it didn't even need to rear up on its hind legs to get to the top of that tree. Like, when we first saw it on screen, his head was already up there. Like, it had to hold its head in place to rear up on its back legs. So if they made it a bit shorter, it would make sense why it would need to. But in real life, it couldn't rear up on its hind legs at all without breaking its front legs. Also, Brachiosaurus and other sauropods could not chew their food. They did not have the right skull structure and the right muscle attachments on their lower jaw to be able to chew from side to side like a cow. Most of the dinosaurs did not live in the Jurassic. I know the name is cool. I like the name Jurassic Park. It's awesome. It made sense, like at least design-wise. But the dinosaurs that they had in the park, most of them anyway, were not from the Jurassic. Only a select few are from the Jurassic. First of all, Brachiosaurus. Second of all, Dilophosaurus. Third of all, Stegosaurus. And I think Compsognathus was from the Jurassic too. And everything else, or at least almost everything else, like T-Rex, Velociraptor, Triceratops, Pteranodon, Spinosaurus, like all of those are all from the Cretaceous period, but it's called Jurassic Park. Like if it was called Cretaceous Park or Mesozoic Park, I do understand that does not sound cool at all. It just sounds accurate but boring. Dilophosaurus was not poisonous and didn't have a neck frill. Yeah, I know it's a bummer, but Dilophosaurus did not have venom, or probably did not have venom, and it was about 4 times the size it was in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Dominion movies. So, in Jurassic World Dominion, we got the return of Dilophosaurus. Before that, we got also the return of Dilophosaurus in Camp Cretaceous, which was, like, made me so happy, because I love the Dilophosaurus. It's one of my favorite dinosaurs. But the thing about the Dilophosaurus is, it was 4 times the size that it was shown in the movies, and it did not have a neck frill like a frilled lizard, and it was not poisonous like a king cobra. T-Rex and most tyrannosaurs had amazing eyesight, about the best eyesight in the history of the planet, even better than eagles, falcons, and hawks. Which is like crazy and cool at the same time. So like the thing about T-Rex, like it can't see you if you don't move. That was explained in the book by saying that it had frog DNA, like the gene sequence gaps were filled with frog DNA, and that's why it could only see you if you moved. But in the movie, they just said that it couldn't see you if you don't move.
Don't move. You can't see us if we don't move.
With no explanation if it was the DNA or anything like that. They just said it was a trait of the T-Rex when it was alive, which was not true. It had better eyesight than any other animal on the planet in the history of the planet, and it had the best nose in the history of the planet. So it could still smell you even if it couldn't see you. So, yeah, even if you don't move, it would still get you. T-Rex versus Spinosaurus. First of all, before I get into the stats and who would win, T-Rex and Spinosaurus lived on opposite sides of the earth from each other. T-Rex lived in North America and Spinosaurus lived in Africa. So they never, ever would have met in the history of the planet. With that out of the way, Spinosaurus was built to fish, not to hunt and kill large herbivores. So Spinosaurus had a long, thin, delicate snout built like with conical teeth with no serrations, built for catching fish. And its neck was not thick, strong, or built like a tank. Another thing, its legs were really, really short for its body size. It's like its legs never grew when it grew up. Like, when it was a baby, it had big legs, and then when it was an adult, the legs never grew. That's what it looks like. So it probably couldn't move very fast. And it had a paddle tail and very dense, not very hollow bones, which means Spinosaurus was built for the water. Like a example today are crocodiles or hippos, at least like bone structure. They have really dense, thick, heavy bones, which helps them with buoyancy control in the water. But with T-Rex probably could swim, but like if T-Rex and Spino were fighting in the water, Spino would win because it has more maneuverability in the water. If it was a water fight, Spino would win. But if it was a fight on land, T-Rex would win because it has longer legs compared to body size, at least compared to the Spino. And it had a thick, strong neck, a big, blocky head, teeth the size of bananas, and it could crush bone. So, you know how Thanos in the Marvel movies snaps his fingers and half the universe goes away? That's what T-Rex would be able to do to Spino. Dinosaurs had feathers. It's science. You can't argue with it. A lot of people might think that dinosaurs look like overgrown chickens with feathers. Some of them do, like Dinochirus. But in the new Jurassic World Dominion movie that came out about a month ago, it's still in theaters, even though it's been a month, which is awesome. They found a way to make dinosaurs look absolutely horrifying while still giving them feathers. And, like, in the movie at least, the reason that at least the Therizinosaurus and the Pyroraptor had feathers and the Moros intrepidus, the tiny little tyrannosaur, it's because that their DNA was more pure. At least, like, Bowson got it more pure, like almost the entire DNA strand, which explains why the other dinosaurs in past movies didn't have feathers. So we got a reason now. But like large carnivores weren't covered in fluff like raptors, like birds of prey today, or dromaeosaurs. They probably had, you know how with elephants, the hair on elephants is like so small and spaced out, it looks like elephants have no hair at all. That's probably what the really, really big predators like T-Rex and Giganotosaurus had. And the new Prehistoric Planet TV show that came out like a month or two ago on Apple TV shows that really well with their Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it and want to hear more, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos. And make sure to go to dinosaurdynamite.com and download my free magazine. Let's get prehistoric.